Hello, 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 and welcome to The Difference Makers. We are here live on LinkedIn. We're here live on Facebook, and we are live on YouTube. Welcome to The Difference Makers, where you make a difference in the lives of others, and we want to give you a virtual platform in which to share your gifts, talents, and abilities with the world. We have a special guest today, which is going to be very unique in that we've never had a guest who is an inventor on our show. Aireka Harvell will be able to share with you her journey of entrepreneurship, where she is going to share how she's created an app, where she has actually gone through many trials and tribulations through her life, but has still come out on top to be not only an inventor, an entrepreneur, a mother of four, and to be able to really be able to make a huge impact in the world. So please welcome Aireka Harvell to the virtual stage. She's having a little technical issue, but she's coming on board. Let me give you a little bit of her background so that you can be aware of what she's bringing to the virtual stage. She is no stranger to obstacles. Let me tell you that. She's a Nashville native, and she has a bachelor's degree in business administration, and she's a female tech entrepreneur. She's in the world of technology. And she's faced a lot of adversity, but yet she chooses to see the good in people and in life. She's a survivor. She's an overcomer. And in her youth, she was introduced to a negative self-image, but later in her life, she overcame that. And she can show you how to do that too, through inspiration and motivation. She saw various things in her life, and she made a decision. She made a decision to turn it all around and to be able to make sure that she fulfilled her dreams. So here she comes. I'm going to bring her onto the virtual stage. Aireka, good to meet you. Hi. Well, we are waiting and ready to hear all about your entrepreneurial journey. I did a bit of a intro for you, but nobody can do it better than you can. Share with us what you're doing right now, and then we'll start with your backstory of how you came to be where you are right now. But tell us where you are right now, as far as not literally in the car, but where you are in your business and in your career.
Sure, but yeah, let me say I'm in the car because I'm always on the go, because I drive around Nashville talking to small businesses, sharing our new software with them, and trying to get them onto the platform so we can help them bounce back from COVID. So I'm always on the go. But yeah, I'm the CEO of Nodat, which is the first actions and incentives driven mobile marketing platform that drives new and repeat customers for small and medium businesses. Mm-hmm. And we do that through just being unique and using time-sensitive offers. Mm-hmm. So thanks Snapchat and Groupon had a baby. And really time-sensitive push notification marketing, like geo-fencing.
Okay.
So where as you're driving down the street, if there's an offer on the app, the user will get notified as they're driving for deals with businesses that are, within their radius. Mm-hmm. And then a universal point system that allows the business to retain customers and at the same time turns those customers into marketers for the business.
Very good. So who's your ideal client as far as who does your technology marketing systems work best for?
Our ideal client are small independent franchises, local chains, the macro restaurants in local areas, retailers, and e-commerce brands.
Great. Well, now that we know where you are in your business now, give us the backstory. That's sometimes a little more juicy because everyone probably thinks you just made it. It just happened. But we know it didn't just happen. So tell us a little bit about the backstory, a little bit about how you became an entrepreneur. Did you always have dreams of being an entrepreneur?
Actually, no. I had a dream of climbing the corporate ladder at AT&T. I worked in loyalty and retention at the AT&T organization in Nashville, at the headquarters downtown. And I wanted to, be a VP there, like of the loyalty and retention. So I worked hard on that. I went to college as a single mom and got my bachelor's degree in business. And then I went to MTSU for strategic leadership to get my master's degree in strategic leadership, because my goal was to be a VP of AT&T loyalty and retention. But in 2016, my son came running into my room, and he was like highly upset that he had missed this chance to go to a new water park that opened in our area. And his friends had been teasing him on Snapchat because it was the last day of summer and it was too late for him to get the opportunity to go. And he came running. He's like, "Mom, did you know there was a new water park here?" And I got upset because I didn't know about the water park. So I started asking my family and friends, and no one knew about it except for one person. And I asked her, why didn't she share anything on social media? Because that's where we get our information, all things local. And she just said she didn't think about it because she was just having a good time with her family, about it. And so I started wondering to myself, how in the world could this happen? That, here's this wonderful business and not many people know about it. And talking to my son, I said, someone needs to create an app that rewards locals for sharing what they know and call it Know That. And he said, why don't you create it? And I didn't know how to build an app. I'm not technical at all. And I started thinking to myself, like, why don't I do it? And at that time, I wasn't aware of a lot of Black people in tech or women in tech. And so I just decided to, to take the chance. And here we are today.
Wow. So between that initial starting point with your son and not being able to know about what was going on and being a part of the in crowd of being in the water park, how did you get the funding to start your business? I know you shared a little bit with me about how you won some competition. So tell us about that, because oftentimes that's a gap that we don't necessarily know how to fill to get funding and angel investors and those types of resources. Would you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so it's still a bit of a struggle, being a Black woman, being a woman, period, with raising venture VC funding. So in the beginning, I was all bootstrapped. I had a friend who did invest in the beginning, but then when we started to, really raise funding, it didn't go as quickly as we thought that it would. But then we ended up winning our first pitch competition after attending the Beta Boom Accelerator.
And repeat that name for us so that we might be able to research it. What's the name?
Beta Boom. It's the name of the accelerator is Beta Boom Women's Venture Academy.
Okay.
And so we won the pitch competition there. And then the Nashville Business Journal did an article on me. And from there, Sherry Dolchman of Sunset Ventures, she called and she's like, I want to invest in your company. And so it went from there. Just those two investments actually helped catapult us to the next level. And so we're ready to open around soon. So
very good, very good. So for those of you who are looking for venture capital, this is somewhat the process. You look for competitions where you can do your pitch. So tell us a little bit about your pitch, Aireka. Did you just wing it on your own? Did you have some training on how to pitch? How did that happen?
Lots of training. I have a funding coach. Her name is Rose Maisner of Womenpreneurs Utah. And she actually worked with me for months on honing my pitch, creating my pitch deck. And then before any competition, I have to practice a pitch 50 times a day. So it's not it's not anything to wing. You want to get the pitch down to the point to where it just flows out of your mouth and it's just second nature.
Wow. So how many people were you competing against?
Well, there was 2 different levels of the pitch competition. So there were 4 startups in my level, and then there were 4 in the level below me. So there were 2 winners for each.
Very good, very good. So what would you say to someone who has a dream, has a vision to do something, to fill a gap, fill a need? Maybe their kids have come to them with some type of idea and they're looking at them with the wide eyes and say, why don't you do it? What would you say to them?
I would say if it's a problem that you have, and you continue to have this problem, 9 times out of 10, other people are experiencing it as well. So have conversations with people in your network, and find someone else who has this problem, and see if people would pay to have that problem solved. And if it's a big enough problem, then go after it. Find yourself a mentor who can work with you to turn that idea into a viable business plan, and then execute on that business plan. But believe in yourself. There's nothing that you cannot do. There is absolutely nothing that you cannot do, as long as you have a real problem. You have people who believe in you and who will work with you, and you have customers who will pay you to solve that problem. And you believing in yourself, you can do anything.
Awesome, awesome. So you also shared a bit with me about when you were a child, and did you always have this you can do it attitude, or did you have to evolve into that?
I think it was always there, but it wasn't as open, like outwardly as it is now. So I always say that there's this 9-year-old little girl who has lived in me all this time, and wanted to just burst out and be like, I got so many ideas, and I got so much stuff that I want to do. And I hid her for a while. But now I had to evolve into, being okay with who I am, being okay with the ideas that I have, being okay being different. And it was someone, Victor Chapman, who taught me that it's my difference that actually makes the difference. Because I am different, I am able to change things in the world, and disrupt what needs to be disrupted.
So tell us a little bit about what it's like to work with you. You're going out and about, you're visiting businesses, as you say. What are the types of conversations that you have when you visit these businesses?
Talking about COVID and them bouncing back, when a little after COVID happened, going to the businesses and seeing what they were doing to pivot to try to get customers in the door, and how some of them were losing hope, and hanging on by a thread, and just talking to them about different things that they can do to keep their businesses in front of consumers and keep consumers engaged. Them worried about not being able to retain the customers that they have, and how are they going to get these customers back when the restrictions lift, which is where we are right now in Nashville, right? Like the restrictions just lifted, and small businesses have like this small window to get their customers, like, hey, come back, before they lose them forever to the competition.
Competition, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what we're talking to them about. We just released this new feature called Smart Notifications that allow the businesses to send out notifications. They create the push notification, and it goes to the customers on our platform that have either subscribed to a category, like I want to know about restaurants within my area, or they subscribe to that business. And so anytime the business releases a deal or something new on social media, the user gets that notification because they, have requested to be updated. So,
well, many in our audience are corporate workers, 9-to-5 workers, and they have a vision or a dream to transition into entrepreneurship, either full or part-time. What would you say about making that transition? I've made that transition. I've helped others to make that transition. You've made that transition. Can you share with us what it was like making that transition? Did you just stop cold turkey, quit one day, or how did you make that transition?
No. When we got to 10,000 users, my accountant was like, you got to go full time. And I decided, I put my 2 weeks notice in. I was up for a promotion actually at that time. And I went home and I prayed. My boss had already told me that, the next promotion is yours. So I went home and I prayed and I said, okay, God, if it's meant for me to build this company and leave AT&T, let me go in tomorrow and let my boss tell me he decided not to give me the promotion. So I go into work the next day, and he taps me on my shoulder and he's like, "Can I talk to you?" So I get in the office. He said, "I decided not to give you the promotion." And so the prayer had like literally gone out of my mind, and I was mad. So when I got back to my desk, I remembered the prayer and I put my 2 weeks notice in. Well, people started coming to me saying, "Don't do it. You're just mad. You have kids. It's not your turn to dream. It's your kids' turn to dream." And so I took the notice back and I stayed 3 months more. So I prayed again and I said, "Okay, I know you're not the author of confusion. Like, I really need to know, is it time for me to leave?" And I said, "I will know by the end of this week." And so when by the end of that week, I had another meeting with my accountant, and an investor stepped forward and said, "I'll give you $40,000 to go full time so that you can work on building the business." And so I ended up leaving October of that year. So it was a jump back,
So was that before or after the pitch competitions?
That was way before the pitch competitions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I say wow because it's confirmation, but I say wow because my journey is somewhat similar in that I was taking care of my mother after some major surgery, and I was single at the time. And I was director of marketing for an HMO. And I was called into my CEO's office, whom I reported to. And when the HR person is sitting in the corner of the office, when you come in, you know what's going to happen, right? So
Right, yeah.
They let me know that the company was bought out by a larger HMO and my services were no longer needed. But I had already had a plan in place as well, like you, where I basically was already doing my business part-time. And I gave myself a challenge to match my take-home pay with my consulting business that I was doing part-time. And I was able to do that consistently month after month. So I had a trend. And when they let me go, they thought I was going to be so upset because they knew my situation with my mother. They knew I was single. And when they let me know, I said, okay. And they were shocked because I already had a plan in place. And I put both feet on the same side of the fence. And I decided not to look for another job and just do my business and take care of my mother. And that was 2005. And I haven't worked for anyone as an employee since then. So I had a prayer like you. I said, however long I'm supposed to be here is however long I'm supposed to be here. And when you don't want me to be here, Lord, that's when I won't be here. Because in essence, I didn't know how I got there because they found me and they offered me exactly what I was looking for dollar-wise and position-wise. So I said, well, I don't know how I got here, but you do. And whenever you don't want me to be here, I won't be here. So it was just the prayer again. And that's so important to put out what you desire of your heart. And as long as it's in line with the Lord's will, it will manifest. It'll manifest.
Yes.
So how have you encouraged other people to find what's in their heart? I think we lost her there for a second. Hopefully she'll come back. But I hope that you see how you can put forth your wishes, your desires, your dreams. Make an intention, put it out there, give it over to prayer if that's what you do, and make an intention of what you would like to have happen in your life and in your career. It is possible. It's all about intention, and it's about setting forth and knowing what you want to do, how you want to do it, and making it happen. Opportunities are around us all the time. It's our job to be prepared because, as they say, it's where preparation and opportunity meet, is where your next level of moving forward comes. So when you are able to have a plan and put it into action, when the opportunities come that support that vision, that dream that you have, you'll know it because it's in line with your purpose. It's in line with what you've set as your dream. You have to be able to see it before you can seize it. You have to be able to see it before you can seize it in reality, in actuality. So it's a matter of being able to think through what would you like the future to be like, whether that's 6 months from now, a year from now, 5, 10 years from now. What do you want the future to be like? What do you want to be, do, and have? Write it down. Write the vision and make it plain. Write it down, because if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. It may exist in your mind, but it doesn't exist in reality until you write it down. And when you write it down, you visit it every day as part of your routine to get that vision clear in your mind every day. You revisit it every day. I will tell you, it might seem, if you've never done this before, kind of monotonous. It might seem like, well, how is that going to make a difference? But I'm telling you, it makes a difference. It makes a difference because you draw to you what you think about. For example, if you ever decided, let's say, to buy a car, if you ever decided to buy a car and you decided on the make, the model, the color, the trim level, all of the details, what happens? You start to see that car everywhere you look because you set the intention and you have the vision in your head. And now when that opportunity passes you by, you notice it because it's in line with your vision. So Aireka is back now, so let's bring her back. But I just want to round out that thought process that if you write it down, make a plan, and revisit it on a daily basis, you will draw to you the energy of that vision, and it will come into your reality. So Aireka is back, and we were talking about, while you were away, about writing the vision, making it plain, writing it out, setting a goal of what it is that you want, and visiting that written vision on a daily basis to bring it into reality for you. Does that jive with you at all?
Absolutely. I say know that to me is another baby. So it has its own personality, and so I speak to that vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm birthing that vision. So yes, I visit it on a daily. To even get to the point to where we are right now, I wrote out like every aspect of it, and how many people should be involved in creating it, and like just speaking it and telling it like what I needed to do at what particular time. And so yes, like I, giving your vision life, like literally giving it life,
Mm-hmm.
actually helps it to come to life.
Absolutely, absolutely. So give us an idea about the future for NODAT. What does the future hold for you? Where will you be in, let's say, a year from now, 3 years from now? What's the long-term plan?
So a year from now, our goal is to be in 12 cities with our universal point system, penetrating the market with consumers, earning and redeeming points at local businesses across their local communities, spending
Mhm.
more money in their local communities and helping the local governments, get better. We in 3 years, our goal is to exit to a larger digital player who can do more with Know That, and
Mhm.
possibly we join that, that initiative. We've seen Facebook and Google and Amazon; they're all battling right now for this market, but they're just a little too big to really understand the complex needs of small businesses, and
Mhm.
that's where we come in. And so, in 3 years, our goal is to hand it over to one of them who we think that's gonna, take care of our small business customers. Who we see ourselves as the rebel right now, coming in saying no
Mhm.
more will small businesses be neglected and ignored, building their stumping ground. And so whoever that's gonna take care of them and um, you know nurture the platform, that's who we want to exit to.
Very good, very good. Great to have you on our show, The Difference Makers, because you are definitely making a difference in the world. You took a need and took it to new levels by filling it not only in your local area, but in others as well. And the plan is to reach into 12 local cities. That's tremendous. So how can people connect with you if they'd like to know more?
You can find me on our Instagram at Know That Nashville or Know That Place. And then our website is knowthatplace.com.
Knowthatplace.com. So tell us about the name as we close out. Tell us what that actually means, or is it an acronym? How did you come up with the name?
So anytime you find something new and you want to share it, what's the first thing you say? Hey, did you know that this? So it's Know That. And so Know
Oh,
That is an action. It's something that a consumer does to support a small business, to shop with a small business, and to promote a small business. So it's a know that. Did you know?
So give us your contact information one more time as we close out.
Sure. It's our website is nodat, place.com. And all of our social media is Nodat Place. Our Facebook is Nodat Nashville. So.
Nodat Nashville. So thank you so very much, Aireka, for being on The Difference Makers, because you make a difference to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great.